What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another episode of Play by Play with JJ. This is another Eagles cast that we're doing tonight. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic day, man. Let me see one other thing. There we go. This is why this is not correct. I don't know why this Discord setting is like this. Just bear with me for 1 second. Oops. Undo. Okay, there we go. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Eagles, because we really haven't been talking about them that much. We didn't talk about Monday night's performance, and I kind of wanted to get into that a little bit. If you guys want to come on and give your thoughts about it and talk a little bit about some of the birds with me, please make sure that you come on to my Discord server and join the whole conversation, because there really is a lot to unpack as to what happened on Monday night. And I think that a good way to start this off with is now this team is 3-0. This team is 3-0. They're 3-0. They're 3-0. It has not been pretty. It hasn't been what a lot of people expected it to look like. The air game hasn't been up to par just yet. But let's start off with the positives, because the positives that I take away are this. The offensive line is massively strong. I see so many holes that Kenneth Gainwell and DeAndre Swift are getting because this offensive line, led by Jason Kelce, has just been so dominant. And they've been able to just create so many holes for DeAndre Swift to operate. And even when Swift wasn't able to get as big of a holes as he probably should have, I see him making these incredible spin moves with the football. Like, the footwork is right there. He's getting the first downs. He's going up the middle. He's running down the sidelines. He's doing everything in his power to try to put this team on his back and establish the run game. And I think that that is a recipe for success. And if you want to talk about postseason football and playoff football, that works. It does. It works. And it all comes down to time of possession. That's where it comes back to. And when you take a look at how they did with time of possession in this particular game, they really dominated the clock a lot. They had the ball for 38 minutes and 55 seconds. That's absolutely huge. That means that Tampa Bay only had the ball for 21 minutes and 5 seconds. So they're dominating the clock. And that, to me, is a recipe for success. And again, it all starts with the offensive line. I see what they're able to do. Even when Jalen has to operate, okay, and he has to step up or he steps back, they give him so much time for him to make a play. It's not even funny. We knew that this offensive line was going to be great, but I don't think we expected it to look this sharp, especially early on. So kudos to them, and kudos to everybody that's a part of that, because they've been doing their job perfectly. And you're going up against a front seven with a defense led by Todd Boles in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you have Shaq Barrett on that line, and you have so many other really good linebackers and people that are already a part of the front three. It's just unbelievable how great the offensive line has been in regards for the Eagles. So that's my first point that I wanted to make, and I wanted to just say that they've just been doing a tremendous job. The running backs, we talked a little bit about DeAndre Swift. I thought that he played really well once again, and I'm really happy with the way that he's been playing. This is a guy who literally had 16 carries. He ran for 130 rushing yards. He averaged about 8 on average, per carry, and he had this really big one game where I think it was 29 yards or so that he was able to, just run with the ball, and he had a hole, but it wasn't like it was that big of a hole, and the way that he just was able to sneak right through and and get the Eagles in better field position. That was so nice to see because I care about the talent. And that tells me that it's not just because of the offensive line. I see what he's able to do against defenders, especially when it comes up the middle. And I see what he's able to do on the sidelines as well, and how he's able to zigzag his way into the spots that he wants to go. That's massive, man. You know, I don't think that Miles Sanders, and this is no disrespect to Miles Sanders, but I don't think that Miles Sanders would have done as good of a job when it comes to not just receiving the ball, but also just being able to make plays himself. I think that DeAndre really has just done such an awesome job with that, and I have to give him kudos because I didn't think that he was going to be this lethal. I saw that he started off the year really strong last year with Detroit, and he had that massive game against the Eagles, of course, to start off the season. But the fact that he's just been able, to put on just these whole displays for this long, I think that that's a really good thing, and that can certainly help the Eagles and work in their favor. Okay, the receivers. Okay, A.J. Brown certainly got involved. That was really good to see. I thought that the relationship and the chemistry between Jalen and A.J., especially in that one drive, I believe it was in the second quarter, I thought that was really good. He's somebody that had 14 targets. So Jalen was really trying to establish getting him involved, and that was really good as well. I liked that. He had 131 yards. Not a lot of deep ball passes, and even some of them that were pretty deep, Jalen wasn't so sharp. And we'll get to Jalen Hurts in a little bit. Right now, we're just talking about the receivers and the tight ends and all that sort of stuff. But I liked what A.J. Brown was able to do. I was also going to say that Devontae Smith wasn't really somebody that got involved too much, but they didn't really have to go to him. There's going to be times, okay, where you're going to have an explosive night from A.J. Brown, and it's going to be a quiet night from Devontae Smith, or it's going to be a quiet night for Dallas Goedert, or DeAndre Swift is not going to have a breakout type of a night. And that just tells me that this team has so many layers to them, it's like not even funny. They really don't have a whole lot of weaknesses. And their weakness, by the way, which is special teams, let's give Britton Covey a shout-out, man. A 52-yard punt return, absolutely huge. Really, that's a really good thing, and I have to be proud of that. Do I expect him to keep that up and have games where he's able to do something like that? Not necessarily, but I also have to kind of give him some flowers for being able to do that and putting the Eagles in really good field position because that was at a very crucial moment of the game. And, you're able to put Jalen Hurts in a really good position to succeed, and you're not doing that if he's getting the ball and he's starting all the way at the 20 or within, the 15. You can't be doing that. So I thought that was really good, too. I was also going to say something else. Now I forget what it was. I talked about special teams. I thought special teams was really good. All right, let's talk about Jalen. Jalen has not been the sharpest, okay? I think that he is still in training camp mode. I still think that he's getting used to this whole offensive system. And look, it's not Shane Steichen that's out there, okay? It's not Shane Steichen that's out there. Jalen still has to get used to his new offensive coordinator, okay? And the whole goal is to have Jalen Hurts put into the best positions. And I don't think that it's right there just yet. I seriously don't. So, but I'm curious to see how, as the weeks go on, right, with the upcoming schedule, on Sunday, you got to go up against the Commanders. Is this going to be a breakout game where we see Jalen Hurts, doing a really good job, not just in the pocket, but also just having him operate? Because the eye vision's there, and he's able to throw the ball downfield, but he just has not really been doing a good job of connecting with his receivers. And some of the passes that he's been making, they have not been on the money. They just have not. So, I don't know. I have to just wait and see how things go. He threw for 277 passing yards. He ran the ball pretty well, I thought. I didn't think he had a bad game. I didn't think he had a great game. I thought that he played okay. And there's going to be times where it's okay for him to be okay. You don't always need him to throw for 400 passing yards or 350 and throw for 3 touchdowns. That's just not how this team is right now. You don't always need that. With the way that they have their defensive line, we're going to talk about the defense, and we're going to talk about Sean Desai because I love what he's been able to do. I think that he has been an absolute incredible person as far as calling the defensive play calls and all that sort of stuff. He's been doing such a better job, and it's something that Jonathan Gannon can't even compare to. Like, seriously. So, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Hurts actually said, and this is and this is courtesy of ESPN, from the AP press. He said this. All right. Quote, outside of some turnovers on my behalf, I think we did a really good job of executing. We've got to do a better job of controlling the things we can, but we've got 3 wins, and we're going to continue to build off of that as a team and hold each other accountable. That's the name of the game. This guy's disciplined, man. This guy always wants to get better. He's very, what's the right word? He's very humble. And he knows that he has to get better in certain areas of his game. Stepping up, right? The play action passes. And that type of stuff. Reading cover 3 zones. Reading cover 2 zones. Watching out for the blitz. All those types of things. That matters. But again, I'm not really disappointed with how he's played so far. I really do think a lot of it is just rust. I do. And that's just because he didn't have a whole lot of snaps in the preseason. So that's what I think is going on, and I'm not that concerned about it. I think that social media takes it way out of context. I really, really do. But that's my thoughts on that. Okay, he threw for 2 picks, but he will be better, and he has to be better. Let's talk about the defense, okay? Jalen Carter, man, an absolute stud, okay? This dude, man, with the way that he's able to take on double teams, okay? You talk about Fletcher Cox, you talk about Brandon Graham, okay? And then you talk about this guy right here. Like, they are just absolute beasts. And it is so hard for opponents' offensive lines to just try to stop them from getting to the quarterback. Baker Mayfield, man, he looked absolutely lost out there. He looked like he was a lost puppy. He really did. Jordan Davis is getting to him, right? Brandon Graham's making some really good plays. How about Nicholas Morrow, dude? Oh my gosh. Did he play well or not? I thought he played absolutely sensational. Davis had 2 tackles, I believe. I was also going to say Zach Cunningham also had a really nice play. Josh Sweat continues to be a really good player as well, in regards to just the middle linebackers. But then, look, I mean, Hassan Reddick literally didn't even play, and yet this team has a lot of layers to them. Like, Hassan Reddick is just somebody that has just been so dominant, over the last couple of years. I mean, last year he played with the Eagles, but, he got off to a slow start, and this week he didn't play, but they just have so many guys that are a part of that front seven that can really make a whole lot of, quarterbacks and even running backs, just make them always on their heels so that so that the ball is in their court and they have to figure out what to do within a blink of an eye. And it's just so wild. And it's so much fun to watch. Just seeing how they're able to attack. This team is winning in the trenches. That's what it comes down to. And that works. That works in the playoffs. That's a recipe for success. It is. I didn't even get to the secondary, dude. The secondary, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. They have. It's not even just Darius Slay that's out there now. Guys are hurt. Reed Blankenship just came back. He had a really nice interception. I thought that was really good, and that certainly took the momentum out of the Buccaneers for sure. They were driving downfield, and here comes Reed Blankenship just intercepting a pass. I think it was going to Mike Evans. Don't quote me on that. But he just comes up out of nowhere, and he just makes a really good catch. And just all of a sudden, Jalen and the offense are just running the ball, and there comes that offensive line that's just able to make gaps and make holes for everybody to operate, including the running game. It is just unbelievable. And I love to see it, and I think that is what makes this team so special. I really do. Nick Sirianni, I think, has been doing a really good job as well. I love what he's able to provide in the locker room for this team. He comes off as a little bit goofy and a little bit corny at times, but you can see that the team is buying in to his philosophy. You do. And you see what he's able to do. You hear what he has to say in his press conferences, and it makes you think to yourself, well, I never really thought about things that way. But it all works. And it all looks absolutely sharp out there. They held Mike Evans to 60 receiving yards. You know how hard that is to do? They held Evans. How about this? Okay, Evans had 10 targets, only 5 receptions. Godwin had 3 receptions and 5 targets. They held Evans and Godwin to 92 combined receiving yards. Do you realize that if you take Evans, Godwin, and Rachaad White's receiving yards, you realize that only gets you to 116 and A.J. Brown at 131. Just wanted to put that out there. I just wanted to put that out there. All right. Do we have anybody in the phones? Because if we do, okay, if you guys want to come chat with me about the Eagles and if you want to talk to me about what you saw in this game, by all means, come on and let me know what you guys have to say, because I'd love to have a conversation with you all and talk about this team, because we really haven't been doing so over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to get back onto the grind and everything and talk about Washington and all that sort of stuff. It's just been so busy with Phillies baseball, man. This team is just doing so well, and they keep winning, and wild card playoff starts next week, and I'm excited about that. But the Eagles are still very relevant, man. They are. So if you guys want to come on, by all means, come on and give your thoughts about the Birds. Give your thoughts about the Birds for sure. I wanted to also ask you, okay, are you, everybody on social media is talking about the tush push, okay? Should it still be called the tush push, or are you more of a fan of the brotherly shove? Nick Sirianni was asked about it. He said he kind of liked the brotherly shove. I still like the tush push, man. But I'd like to hear your thoughts about that, too. What do you think it should be, and why? So, but yeah, Baker looked absolutely lost out there. Jordan Davis and the Georgia Bulldogs are just taking on so much responsibility. And, you're missing Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean did not play. And you're missing guys like Hassan Reddick. And injuries have really played a big factor with this team. Like, let's not sugarcoat that. Because when guys are out, that changes everything about the defense. And Sean Desai, I think, has been doing a really good job just putting the team in the position to win all the time. I was actually listening to WIP yesterday, and it was Ike and Reese. They were at Chickies and Pete's. I forget where, but Brandon Graham came on as the special guest, and Graham, I thought, brought up a really good point. Basically, the paraphrase, he said that the one thing that he really likes about Sean Desai is that he actually allows the veterans to speak up, and he's always willing to take constructive criticism and also be willing to make adjustments before the games. Like it doesn't matter like if it's on a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever, and then just during the game too. He's always open to changing his game plan, and as simple as this sounds, Jonathan Gannon, from everything that I've heard of in the media, just did not do that. He was not willing to blitz. He wanted to play more zone defense, more cover threes, more cover twos, and have more people in the backfield, or in the secondary, try to get more action. And what I like about that is, they're playing free. They're playing the way that they should be playing. They're going after the quarterback. They're going after receivers out there. They're mixing things up, but they're also sticking to something that's working. And JG just did not do that. And it is just night and day to see how the guys are even interacting with him on the sidelines, like after the defense has to come off the field. And I think that is absolutely special. And that is something that I hope continues to be a big thing with this team, because they're really holding a whole lot of offenses to not too many points. They held them to 3 points. They held the Bucs to 3 points in the first half. It's pretty impressive. So, it's good stuff. All right, we're going to close up shop. That's going to wrap things up here. My name is Jason Joseph. I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your night. We're going to be coming back on in just a little bit to talk about the Sixers, because Damian Lillard got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, and I want to talk about how this impacts the Sixers, even though I'm really not looking forward to it. I'm not happy about it, but stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you all in the next one, next time we talk about the Eagles too on here. Peace out.